Today we're building the workshop, but first, do you think I can make it across here? I'm gonna leave the camera with Dawn and I'm gonna see if I can make it across the pond. But first, safety first, I'm gonna get my gloves on. Cold water rescue. Whoa, whoa. I'm gonna take a run at it. All right, let's go build a workshop. Well, hello guys. As they say, carpe diem. It is the second part of a two-part series on this outdoor workshop. It's gonna be indoors soon, but it's currently an outdoor workshop. So we're gonna go indoors today. And the reason why we're going indoors, I looked at the weather forecast. The next couple of days is going to be extra terrible. I don't mind snow, but when it's rain and snow, not good. As you can see, blank canvas. So I got a plan. I'm going to take the loader bucket on my little tractor and I'm going to level out the floor in the shed. And then I've got some waterproofing material over there, and I've got my insulated panels over there. Ideally, this is going to go quickly, seamlessly, perfect. All those other buzzwords. Let's clear this out a little bit and get started. Oh, and on another note, I can get my truck back here now. So a lot of the material that I need, that I can't make in the forest, I can just drive it back here, which is, it's a world of difference when you get your material close to where you need to actually use it. It's half the battle, especially when you're drywalling or something like that. Half the job is actually moving the drywall. Hanging it's easy. Let's offload some material and let's go grab a tractor and move some dirt. Anybody want a stump? That was easier than I thought it was going to be. Now that we've got the stump out of the road, we're going to level out this area here. And to do so, use the loader bucket. I'm more efficient with the loader bucket than I am with the backhoe. Move some dirt, flatten some ground, make a nice level floor. Now that we have the ground more or less level, I'm gonna put a little bit of sand on top and that'll further get me level, maybe fill in some of the low spots, get me out of this sticky clay-like sand mud stuff. And then I'm gonna lay my my subfloor. Yeah, it's like a subfloor. And then we go from there to our finished floor. You know those bubble buildings you see where they got soccer pitches and tennis courts and I guess in factories and stuff, and they're pressurized bubble building. So anyways, this is what happens when they're at their end of their life. They basically get chopped up and thrown out, and that's where I come in. So I ended up salvaging a big chunk of this thing. I'm not sure how big it was. Really heavy. There's an internal layer and an external layer, and I basically cut the internal layer off and I'm left with a really thick material outer layer. It's very thick tarp. So I'm going to put this on the ground and then I'm going to put my subfloor on top of that. So this is the subfloor, and it's going to keep the moisture down, and in turn will make a more comfortable workshop. Well guys, we might have just got enough done yesterday in order to continue on today. I was worried about not getting the flooring because I didn't want to be fighting this tarp in the rain. And the rain is just starting now. We're supposed to get a real wallop of a storm. Gale force winds, lots of rain, lots of snow, and that's the worst when you're working out in it. Our plan today is to make a floor. So I've got my my sand all spread out, my bulletproof tarp. Big shout out to the the Farley Group is the company that makes this stuff. We've got a factory that makes the bubble buildings in your city, in your town. They've always seemed to have stuff out front that is a pretty good home. It's great stuff. I know farmers use it to cover silage, keep the rain off of it. Firewood guys use it to cover their firewood. Like it's got like a billion uses, and you know what the best thing about it is? It's free, it's durable, and if you want one of those bubble buildings, you should go check out the Farley Group. They make great bubble buildings. What can I say? So the plan is to take these basically the skids and make somewhat of a platform on the floor in order to give us something level for our subfloor, which is our OSB subfloor, and then I've got a special flooring that I saved for on top of that. Now that I got all my cribbing down, I can move on to my sheeting. Sheet the whole thing. It's still raining, but it is nice and cozy in here. Well guys, winter is in full swing and it's getting increasingly difficult to keep these ducks watered and fed, and I don't think I have proper accommodations for them as of yet. And these ducks were always kind of being raised as food. As hard as that is to, they know we're talking about them. If I had better accommodations, maybe I would be able to keep these ducks longer. Originally, these ducks are food at the end of the day. So yeah, so keep them as long as I can. I think it's just cold. It's just miserable. It's not a great situation for these ducks. Maybe next year. Maybe next year it'll be a better place for ducks. Or I keep them warm. It's hard to keep the water from freezing and everything else. So it's the beginning of the end. I don't know. We'll see. Gotta do some more thinking. Quack quack. Walking in a winter wonderland. So overnight, rain, slush, snow. The rain and the slush decided to turn to snow. So today we're back working on the workshop because this is the goal of the workshop. Carrying on. See? It doesn't hit the snow when it opens. Guess it hasn't snowed that much yet. Time will tell. Let's get some insulated wall panels up today. See how far we get. So between my posts is around just under 10 feet. The easiest thing to do would be to just kind of tack them to the posts, go all the way up. The problem I'm having is that I don't have enough panels that are long enough to go from post to post. The other problem is I don't want to use that much space inside my building. I want to be able to just basically go inside the post, inside here, and inside here with this panel. What I'm going to do is I'm going to trim a little bit off the bottom here, and then it lets my panels sit right down below. A lot of the panels I have don't quite span the whole thing, so I'm going to try to cobble them all together to make myself a seamless panel. Probably spray foam all the gaps and then build corner posts in order to fancy it up a little bit. Gotta get something done. It's cold. As long as I keep moving. Brr. So I've got the insulated garage door panels up on the 2.5 walls. I've run out of panels. I need 3 more panels. I spoke with my garage door guy and he says he's doing a big job. He's got a couple extra ones kicking around that are going to show up probably in a couple of days. That being said, I'm just going to move on with another stage of this project, which is the floor. And I've also picked up a number of these RX boards, which is 3/4 of an inch, 1 inch, actually it's 1 inch foil backed foam insulation. I got it from my local hardware store. It was basically, they're like, well, it's got some issues. And I said, what kind of issues? He goes, well, I got caught by the wind. By the wind, I think I got hit by a tornado. I got about 20 sheets. I think they retail for about $40 a sheet. I ended up picking them up for about $5 each. I've got that for the upper portion of the roof in order to basically secure all that up, as opposed to cutting these metal styrofoam pieces. When people talk about sunshine and solar and all that sort of stuff, a lot of the time it's location specific. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon and we're in the forest and it's full sun. So what's interesting about that edge of Narnia over there is that I don't own that property. That's my neighbor's property. You can kind of see, you can see the sunshine coming through. And that's why solar doesn't work in the bush, is because you don't get that much sunshine. And in the wintertime, it's such low on the horizon that it's not efficient. Look at that. Should just built it right here, right next to my neighbor. This just goes to show you this another kind of reason why monocultures are not great. It's because no light gets in to the forest floor. Now eventually this forest is going to be thinned out and maybe get some sunshine, because you can see I'm kind of going back into the shade. All right, let's get insulating because it's cold in the shade. This is what you call RX board, or in my neck of the woods, code board. And this is the stuff that they put on the outside of buildings in order to get their R value up. It's got tin foil or some sort of foil backing on both sides, and in between is sandwiched styrofoam. It's really good for retrofitting. If you have a siding house and you pull all your siding off, you can bat on the outside of the building to bump up your insulation. Or if you're doing any kind of retrofit, this stuff's great. It is a little pricey. Again, I think in my neck of the woods it retails for $40 a sheet. Insane. I don't know if that has anything to do with the current climate. Don's back! That's always exciting when Don's back. He had to go get some teeth work done, so he's got all brand new. No, he doesn't have brand new teeth. He had a tooth that was having some issues, so he got his tooth renovated upon. Cool gadget time! It's like cool tool time, but with gadget. Little guy here looks like a mouse for a computer. It's made by a company called Okupa, a rechargeable hand warmer. Imagine that. You plug it into your USB port and it warms your hand. So it's got 3 settings, like I think it's like low, medium, and burn your hand. Actually, I don't think it gets that hot. It's actually quite toasty. I've had it in my pocket for the last couple of days, and it actually keeps me warm. And you know what? Like, I think you can charge your phone with it too. It feeds stuff back in. It's kind of neat. So they were asking me if I wanted one, and I said absolutely I want stuff. So I got one for Don. So there it is there. Don, here, Merry Christmas. I'm gonna throw it to him. Here you go.
Oh, wow, thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Keeps his hand warm. It's they're neat little gadgets. I'll have a link in the description below. If you guys are interested in those things, message down in the comments, and they did indicate that they might be giving a giveaway. And now we're ready to do our flooring. I have 3.5 inch, 4.5 inch by 3/4 inch cherry floors. We scavenged this from we actually removed it from a house that was renovating their floor, and they decided they didn't want this floor anymore, so we took it. It was 2 days of denailing or something like that, and we did end up saving a lot of it, and I sent it up north to my father. He made baseboard out of it because it's really nice stuff. The only problem is it's tongue and groove, but there's no ends tongues. Cherry hardwood, solid cherry hardwood floors. That'll look amazing. Down to the last couple of rows. A lot of guys will either drill the tongue and then put like a hand banging nail in. We're not going to do that. Some guys have the short little stubby nail guns that they can get right next to the wall and install it. We don't have that either. What we're going to use is this traditional brad nailer. Well, I guess it's kind of traditional. It's cordless, and we're going to just nail through the tongue into the just on an angle, hide the nail, and then we're going to just face nail the back of it. It is a shed in the woods at the end of the day, so we're not that concerned. And it is reclaimed cherry floors, and there's no tongue on the ends or the grooves, so they just flop in. Should be good. We're not even gonna glue it. We got last row, and then we got our floor. I think it looks awesome. Another fine day in paradise. It decided the skies opened up and decided to snow on us. So we've got this snowball here we're going to mill up. Actually, it's not a snowball. It's a ash log. And the plan on this one is to mill it into essentially veneer. So we're going to line the inside of our workshop with ash wall cladding. And that's going to get rid of our garage door look and hospital feel. We want it to look more like a wood shop. Wood shop, and less like a cold cellar or a cooler. So we've got our Norwood HD36 here. We've just making sure she's all got our oil's all good. We had some issues with one of the bands on the actual drive wheel, and there was pith stuck underneath the drive band, and that was causing our blade to wobble. And so yeah, maintenance issue on my part. So we added chiseling that all out. And now we've got a blade that runs perfectly smooth, straight, true, all those other buzzwords. Don's just making sure everything's safe, set up. We're gonna mill this log. This log is about 10 feet long by about 20 inches in diameter, 18 inches in diameter. We're hoping to get a 12-inch cant out of it, and that means like a 12-inch square block, and then we're gonna mill it into half-inch wood, and that's going to act as our veneer in order to cover our walls in our workshop. We got to get ourselves a little more comfortable before we build our workshop. So it's always good to have a barrel nearby to start up, light up, Dawn's just about got her going. We're gonna finish our back wall, which is our insulated garage door panels. We've got our walls pretty much all done. We're gonna get this done, and then we're gonna button up the little cracks with some spray foam. It's been a long haul. It's tough working in the winter. You gotta deal with the cold fingers and the cold everything. So we got a special. We also have a special project. A special thing that I built many moons ago that we're going to repurpose again. This is a 1/2 inch thick by 9.5 inch ash tree. And we got some really nice boards. Basically tack it up on the inside walls, and that's that. And maybe, depending on how it weathers, if it shrinks a little bit, because it's not exactly dry, but it's pretty dry. So if it doesn't weather well, or if it shrinks a little bit, we can always add battens to where the cracks are, because there's no tongue and there's no groove. This is a reclaimed workbench. I salvaged this from a tear out, and it's a really well built bench. It's like mortise and tenon. It's old school wood. You know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And in this case, if it's already built, why build it again? So we're gonna move that in place and see how it fits, because we got to fit our rocket stove in there beside it. So we're gonna see the best placement on this workbench. It's about 8 foot 1/4 inch long. It's built out of solid bricks. So we're gonna move it over there and hopefully not get a hernia in the process. That's why Dawn's here. That's perfect. Whenever I have the opportunity to reuse something, I'm going to, and especially this bench. You don't find benches like this anymore. Like I was saying before, this is a salvage bench. You can see it's got like threaded rod with bolts, and it's tongue and groove, and there's like, they've got the pegs in here where they, old guys that had time, craftsmanship to build stuff. It's just amazing stuff. You see them on like classifieds all the time where like people are moving or something like that, and they're just trying to get rid of, like, get more space, and they're just getting rid of stuff. And a lot of times you can find these for free. They're all workbenches. Good for pounding. All right, let's measure up some boards. Now we got a workspace now. Look at that, a workbench. We can work on a workbench. You guys ever heard of end vent before? I found it in a scrap. It's like a stainless steel elbow used for venting of probably some sort of new space age furnace back in the day, and now they're discontinuing it. They got this weird clippy thing that we're trying to get out, and we can't seem to, and Don's trying to jab himself in the leg with the screwdriver. Oh, we got it. That's cool stuff.
What a bead of silicone on there, though.
Well, is it like grease or something? Yeah, it's kind of cool because it comes in 3 foot lengths and it's stainless steel. It's better than the, I guess it was the heavy gauge 26 gauge galvanized I was thinking of using. So we're going to use this instead. This is going to be the vent for the rocket stove. I previously had it installed with 26 gauge galvanized, and all we know, galvanized, like, it doesn't get that hot. I've got some thermal imaging of this guy in operation, and it doesn't get crazy hot because it stays mostly in that guy, and the actual vent gases doesn't seem to get that hot. It's great. I've never seen it before until the other day when I saw it, and I was like, yeah, that's cool. So that's what we're gonna put in. Does anybody else get excited from pipe? Look at this guy. It's telescopic. Whoa. Just get the pipe in the hole. There's gotta be silicone in there. Right there. It dropped down to really cold last night, and anyways, it gives us all the more reason to make sure we got heat in our workshop, and that's what's on the agenda for today is the rocket stove. Once we get the rocket stove rocking, we will be able to heat our little workshop in order to, get stuff done and not be frozen. I got my thermals on, my 6 layers. I just keep adding t-shirts underneath my existing clothes until the end of winter. So I've got it's a 2 t-shirt day with 1 sweater and my jacket. So I just keep adding until the end of winter. How many layers you got on, Don?
4 today.
He's got 4 layers. It's 4 layers cold today. I guess I got 4 layers too. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4 layers. Where else? It's a 4-layer day today, which in Canada, that's a cold. It's a cold day in the forest today. We're gonna get our rocket stove rocking, and we're gonna do some odds and sods. So we gotta get, yeah, we gotta get some stuff rocking. All right, let's get a hole in here so we can get our rocket stove rocking. The venting on the rocket stove, I ended up using an old piece of B-vent for the actual insulated piece that goes through the wall in order to prevent my structure from catching fire. Now the exhaust on the rocket stove, it actually most of the heat stays inside the rocket itself, and the actual that goes through the wall doesn't actually have that much heat at all, so you'd almost touch it. So I'm pretty confident that that is going to last a very long time. Now that we've got our rocket stove all hooked up, we can get a little bit of fire going. It takes a little bit of time for this guy to heat up because there's so much thermal mass in it, because it's a lot of steel to warm up. But the idea is that the air, combustion air, gets pulled down in through this little tube. Also the wood goes down in through the tube. So you put your little scraps and whatnot while you're woodworking in your little tube, and it basically sucks the air down inside, and there's a little combustion chamber down below. This little heats up, and then there's a tube that kind of goes up to about here inside the tank, and then the exhausts spill back down, go back around, and then up through the chimney above. And it's a great heat exchanger to the point where you can barely touch this thing, but the chimney itself you can hold on to. It's that good at exchanging heat. It's a really phenomenal way to heat. I used to, in a former life when I lived in the city, I used to heat my double car garage with this thing. And I had it vented out through the wall just like this with a B vent, and I had some thermal imaging cameras at one point at the house, and I checked it out. I took a picture of it, and you can kind of see where the heat is, and it's basically down by the firebox, up and around here, and doesn't really get the exhaust hot. You can actually, I can hold on to it, which is a phenomenal way. And again, it doesn't use a whole lot of wood, but if somebody was to say this thing's going to heat up the entire outdoors, they're wrong, because BTU in, BTU out sort of thing. So if you're still just burning very little amount of wood, so it's a very efficient way to produce a lot of heat using a little bit of wood. And in this case, it's a large surface area, so the idea is to basically heat this area of the shop, and the heat radiates this way. And you don't really want it that hot in your workshop anyways while you're working, just enough to take the edge off. Drilling some pot holes so we can get some more lighting in here. Let's take you guys on a tour of the inside of the off-grid workshop. Come on in. This is my happy place. Whew, nice and warm in here. Well, it's getting there anyways. We've got the rocket stove rocking. The rocket stove rocking. We've got, well, I guess we should start at the bottom. This is our reclaimed cherry floors. This is these solid cherry hardwood floors. Milled up ash wood for the walls and our clapboard siding, and we've obviously got our insulated garage doors panel underneath that. Anybody knows that's ever built a workshop, maybe you haven't built a workshop, it's never really done. You always kind of modify and adjust and add things and change things and move things around. So this is a good start. This is going to get us a lot of stuff that we need almost on a daily basis out here at the ready. So it's, you just kind of like come and grab a drill, or, we got a little bit of style. We got some LED rope lighting up there just to give us a little bit of modern. It's not all doom and gloom all the time, is it? You're in your workshop, you want to be comfortable. Should be warm, should be comfortable. It ain't worth it if it's not fun. The power on this guy is an energy power pack, and it's a lithium power pack. It can be charged by solar. You can plug it in at home. You can plug it into your car when you want to charge it up. But it provides a ton of power. You can plug in a jigsaw, cordless saw, skill saw, any kind of saw you want to plug into that thing. Drills. You can even plug in a coffee maker. I might say, hey, you know what? Let's put a coffee maker in this bad boy because I like coffee, especially when you're working. This is the inside of the off-grid workshop. Take it all in, boys.